I tracked every movie I ever watched, and you can too. Why it made sense for me, and also just might make sense for you to track all your movie watch history. For me now, it's a purely practical thing, actually, because now I have access to all the movies I ever watched, not really in the same order as I watched them historically, but most of it just how I remembered it. How it all began. Well, I tracked other aspects and facets of my life already, like books I read. Why? Because if you actually want to make use of books you've read, at least when it comes to non-fiction, writing down a few key takeaways just makes the reading itself so much more productive. Because you simply only can remember what you read better, but you also can read your notes at any point in time again and again, and remember in this way your thoughts about a book much better. This meant I had a book list already, a list where I just put in the date, the title, the author, sometimes a few notes. Then I mainly switched to listening to books instead of audiobooks, but of course this doesn't really change the use of a tracking list. Here is how it looked like. Basically, I just had a list where I wrote down a number and then the book I've read. But for the most part, I just wanted to see and know which books, audiobooks, and also movies, documentaries I had seen, because often I found myself talking about a specific idea in a book to a friend, for example, but I neither could remember the title nor the author of the book. But with a simple list in OneNote, for example, you just can look up these things very easily. Therefore, I already had these different lists until I discovered and tried Notion, a database software that essentially allows you to make a giant media tracking list. With all your books, podcasts, movies, TV shows, documentaries, and so on, and since I now also talk about the things I consume online, for example, writing my ideas and thoughts out on paper, I now just can go through this list and see on which pieces of media I consumed and want to write about. I didn't write about already. The next step was this. What if I just gave you, the readers, access to some parts of my list? For example, just list all the books of screenwriting I read over the years, and therefore being able to just mention and link them to you. Therefore, whenever I now mention an idea like the Save the Cat moment Black Snyder coined with his book Save the Cat, I could just link you the book. And since I also use this list now to accumulate all the links to these podcasts, YouTube channels, and also movies, and therefore it makes it much easier to quickly link a book or a channel and give you more access to the behind the scenes of how a movie review like Tenet Isn't Logic came to be. Writing very short reviews about movies and TV series was another idea I had. I now could just use the list and copy-paste it as one of these lists on Kit, a website that allows you to put together different services, products, movies, and therefore just could give you access to these new short reviews. Of course, you can also read these on Amazon, but since you read Checking Cinema or watch it already, I thought you might also be interested in my short opinions on the one or the other movie or TV show.